6-3 at home, 4-5 on the road, finished fourth. Always want to compete for the top spot, but all in all, finishing fourth with this young group's, good for, I think the guys are positive about it. So it was a good win on the road. The only bad thing is we got to go play the same team again. So the only thing is you're prepared for them, but then as coaches, you spend the whole time figuring out what they're going to do or what they're going to change or what adjustments they're going to make. So unique that, we know who we're playing, unlike the other seeds ahead of us. So, I've known Eric for a long time, and I know he'll have them ready, and I know they'll make adjustments. So just trying to figure out that and trying to figure out how we can get better and ready to go. So health-wise, we're fine. So it was good to get a win, get a little bit of momentum going into the tournament. I think the biggest thing is I think our guys know that they've played with everybody. If you look at Fresno, we split. Boise, we swept. Nevada, we swept. San Diego State beat us twice, but we know how that is. So the biggest thing is Nevada. So just trying to concentrate on that and little goals for our guys, and we'll go hard today for about an hour. Excuse me. And then we'll leave tomorrow and get ready for it. So I think we have the recipe. We've been successful there. So hopefully we'll continue, and I'm sure there'll be a large contingent of our fans there, so that'll help.
Did you take away anything from Saturday's game, knowing you're going to face them again, that you can utilize on Thursday?
Well, I think we just got to handle end of the game situations a little bit better. Got to make free throws late. I thought we missed some free throws that, we made some plays late that were uncharacteristic, or maybe not uncharacteristic because we made some of those plays earlier in the year, but we haven't had that much problem with the press. I think if we make those free throws late, then I don't think it's as close as it ended up being. But we just got to make sure we finish games out. So I think our guys, aren't trying to do that, but I just think it happened.
Coach, you touched on it just a moment ago, but just the advantages and disadvantages of playing the team twice in basically a week span.
Well, I just think you're already prepared and you've already seen them, personnel-wise. And, if we had to play somebody else, then we'd have to do a whole new scout, whole new personnel deal, which we've played them before. But being less than 48 hours is pretty fresh. You don't have to do a lot of tape work or a lot of studying because you just did it for a week. Plus you have 3 days to do it coming up. So I think the biggest thing is trying to practice on what they could do or what they can change. So that's what we'll try to concentrate on.
Lobos had a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen how good he can be. How big is his role going to be moving forward? If he plays that game?
Well, I think if he's that active, then we're really good. I think if he plays with that activity and does the things he has to do and the little things, then I think his activity helps us defensively. His activity gives us somebody back there that they got to be looking for. And with him being that active, that helps. The problem that has hurt us this year is when he gets in foul trouble early, and we don't have that guy back there. And then we really got to guard the ball, and guys have driven us, and we haven't kept the ball in front of us. So he makes a big difference.
Can you comment on the newcomers, specifically Elijah and Tim, and how valuable they've been to your team in their first year of eligibility with you this year?
Well, I think they've been real valuable, and I think that's one reason why we recruited them so hard. I thought both of them, we knew what they can do and how valuable they were going to be to the program and what they brought to the table. And it just happened that it worked. And that's the biggest thing, but you got to give those guys credit. They really worked at it, and it came to, it really just what we thought would happen happened. We thought we'd like to win a lot more games. But for a new group, I think our kids have battled. They've been up and down, but those two guys have had a successful campaign in which we thought they would have, but you never know until it happens, until you play games.
Coach, do you remind the guys, or do you talk about what last year's experience was like at the Mountain West Conference Tournament?
Not last year's, but years in the past. No, we talk to them. We're just trying to get them in a good place, trying to explain what's going to happen, how things are going to operate, how it works. That little deal, you're talking about when you're going to get in, when you're going to practice, where you're going to practice, where you're staying, how you get to certain places, where you're going to eat. Things, try to give them a little bit of, territory of what's going to happen, what's going to go on, just because you got a new group, and I think they've been there and they know what's some of what to expect. I think the only good thing is Elijah and Tim were there as spectators last year, so they know. So that'll help us.
Effort and defense obviously been the big
Right.
topic.
Bigger, better last game.
Yeah, can you just kind of comment on that? How happy were you with it?
Well, I mean, that's a great question in the sense that I just think our guys, I think the biggest thing that we talked to our guys going in the Nevada game was if a guy makes a mistake, he makes a bad shot, takes a bad shot, misses assignment defensively, you got to cover for one another. You got to try to make it up. And I thought the Nevada game, especially the first 35 minutes, I thought they did that. I thought they played with great effort. I thought they competed. And it just shows you how good they can play. Now, they got to do that on a consistent basis. And if they do that, then the team that plays like that will be hard to beat.
How much does it help all the fan support? I mean, it's no secret. Over the
It
last
helps.
several years,
Yeah, it helps. It helps. I think, if I look back and I just think some of our guys have played better on the road this year. I think our teams played better on the road this year sometimes, but we were 6-3 at home and lost 2 of those games late. But we were 12-4 at home, and our crowd makes a big difference. But our guys have to bring the energy to get our crowd involved. It shouldn't be the other way around. And I think with a young group, they just think they're supposed to walk down that tunnel and it's supposed to happen. And they've done that. They've brought effort in some games and for spurts. But it'll be good. I think it'll be a good thing for our team. I think it'll be a calming effect, hopefully, on our team that our fans are there. And I think our guys are looking forward to it.
Coach, can you describe just the feeling that it is being at Thomas and Mack and how, calling it Pit West, the way
Right.
the fans are? Can you just describe the atmosphere overall and how it's different than any other road games you guys play?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's different than any other road games because we're going to have 8,000 people there. I don't know how many tickets we've sold this year, but the first year we won it, there was like 8,200. The second game, there's 9,500. Then the last game, there's close to 11,000. So that makes a big difference. And I think, our crowds are, second to none. I don't know how it came out, but, the unique thing that I've been blessed with being the head coach here, my first year we made more revenue than we ever made in the program, attendance-wise. My second year was second. So I've been around here this is my third year, and I've been a part of great crowds and what we've done for the program. So I don't think it'll be any different this year. I hope we had the same as we did in 2013, but it's yet to be determined, and we'll see when we get there. But our guys are excited to get there.
Coach, what about the, you must have been happy with the votes, 2 All-Mountain West first team people, but would you agree with all 5? And San Diego State didn't get anybody. They're kind of right now a little upset. Did you agree with the 5 that were selected?
I thought Winston Shepard should have made it.
You did?
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you everybody I voted. But here's where it gets twisted. It's not a stat game. That's what everybody gets so caught up in. How many points people score, how many threes they hit, how many free. It's not about who guards, who's a defender, who wins. I think we get too caught up in stats. And, it changed this year because we had a very unique year this year because we had 3 guys that were averaging 20 points a game. And that hasn't happened in a long time. And those 3 guys are terrific players. And they all bring different things to their teams. But, it can't be all about just what you do numbers-wise.
Cullen's coming off of a good game, and
Mhm.
then, there was a little bit of question with the head deal, but he seems to be okay.
Right.
You pleased with how he's performing going into the tournament?
Yeah, I think he's playing well. And, I think he's played as good as he's played all year, and hopefully he'll continue that and just play. We just got to make sure that we stay within ourselves, and I think It's like I told our guys, everybody's got to do what they do. Don't try to do what you can't do. And I think if we do that, we can be really successful.
What has the year been like for you with 2 new coaches on your staff?
It's been unique. It's been different. I think that's one thing that we don't talk about that much. I got 2 new coaches. I got 14 new guys that haven't played together. I lost Devin Williams and I lost JJ. But it's been a chemistry building year. So hopefully, hopefully they'll get a head coaching job. I don't know what'll happen at the end of the year, but you want them to get better jobs and improve in their coaching profession. But hopefully we'll have everybody back and give us some continuity, and then we'll have everybody back but Tim and Connor and Mike. So that'll be big. So, but it also helps with the continuity of the program.
How tough of a task is it going to be to try and cut down the nets again, coming from the seeding you are, and then maybe having to face San Diego State?
It'll be tough, but I would rather play San Diego State in the second game than the third game, just with our depth and their athletic ability and their length. I think it bodes well for us to be a little bit fresher, if that makes any sense. That's my positive take on it. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But you got to win 3, and anything's possible.
Coach, how wide open is this year's tournament?
It's pretty wide open. I mean, I thought last year was pretty wide open. So this year is no different. But you got to give San Diego State, a heavy favorite because they went during the league 16-2. That's impressive, and I think they really did a nice job team-wise and doing stuff that you have to do to be real successful in our league.
How do you feel this group has responded throughout the season, whether you have a film session, practice, and other struggles, but how do you think they've grown?
I thought they did well. I think they've learned, JJ. I think the biggest thing, you hear people around, have they cashed it in? Have they done this? Have they done that? They fought all the way, and they're going to continue to fight, and they're excited to try to win. They're excited to try to win the championship. I think they've grown. I think a lot of them watch film, and they watch their highlights, and they don't watch to learn how to get better. And I've tried to do more with them later in the year about, how to play the game, spacing, how to move the ball. When we move the ball and we do the things that we've, tried to get them to do teaching-wise, they're really good, and I think those guys have picked that up. I don't know how many of them have had coaches watch tape with them and try to teach them the game. So some of it's new for all of them. But we've had guys that are back that have done it. We've done it with them.
You mentioned at the beginning of the press conference that you guys know what it takes. You've been
Right.
successful there. From a coaching standpoint, what is the winning recipe of winning 3 games, cutting down the nets?
Well, I think you just have to take small tasks. I think you have to be focused on one game at a time. You can't look ahead, and then as soon as that game's over, you go forward. Hopefully, we'll get our guys, and if we win the first game, then we'll get them out of there. I think that's been a good recipe for us. We'll get them out of there. They won't wait for me or wait for us to do press. They'll have the locker room till I guess it's 30 minutes, and then once that's closed, we get them out of there, and their day will be planned, and then we let them rest, and then we get on the game plan. Then we'll meet late at night. But I think the way we've done it over the years with those little things and stuff that we've done with our kids, preparing them for the 3. I think we do it a certain way that's very productive, and it's been really, really good for us.
Coach, you'll hear people say that it's tough to beat a team 3 times.
Mhm.
I don't know how much truth there is to that, but that you'll kind of be on both ends of the spectrum in this tournament with Nevada and San Diego State.
Right.
Just your thoughts on that.
It's hard. I mean, the unique thing is that we got to play them. We just played them, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. So I think it's hard for anybody to beat anybody 3 times, but I'm not going to talk to our guys about that. But we're just going one game at a time, 1 4-minute game at a time, 1 possession at a time, and that's offensively and defensively. And I think if we can get locked in, which I thought our guys did a really good job in Nevada, I thought that's why we played so well. I thought they were really task-oriented. I thought they were really on task. I thought they were really together, and that's what we'll try to get them to do for Thursday.
You had a discipline issue earlier in the season with, I think it was the trip to Vegas. Is
Mhm.
there any concern going back to Vegas? that?
There's always concern going. There's always a concern going to Vegas. No, I'm gonna let our guys, walk around and see some of it tomorrow night after we have dinner. But then once Wednesday morning starts, then we'll get into it. But I think the lesson was learned. It's one of those things where it's unfortunate, but I think our team learned. And going forward, I think it's helped some of our guys have the year they've had. And also, I think it's helped us face a little bit of that adversity and not get so down about it. And, keep fighting and keep striving to get better. And I think they've continued to do that. I mean, they could have very easily went in Nevada and lost. But I thought their resolve and their mentality, and I think they've spent a lot of time talking about it. And I think they had to get over the fact that after the Utah State game, they were just like, we can't catch them. But you can't look at it that way. And that's what young guys do. And, I think they've learned, and hopefully we'll go forward from there.
Coach, were you the most pleased with Adams this year? How you've had to put him into these places where he's going against guys 3-4 inches taller, and
Mhm.
I was looking at his rebounds, and he had like 80 rebounds in 400 minutes, which is pretty impressive. And then his shooting's over 50%. It just seemed like he's really improved more than anybody.
Well, I think the biggest thing with X putting him in that spot is he's done what we've asked him to do, and he's played to his strengths. But he's played with high energy, and that's why I said I had to get him on the floor. But I think we've helped him with a mismatch. I don't think he had to be out there shooting threes. He was able to get to the rim, get fouled, get offensive rebounds, and be aggressive. And he's really a good offensive rebounder. He always has been. It's just sometimes when you're out there on the perimeter, you don't get in there as much as you can. And by putting him in a new spot, I think we've helped him with that. But he's done everything I've asked him to do. I thought he was terrific in Nevada. I really did. I think he had 7 rebounds. I thought he was terrific. And he did all the things that we needed him to do, and we're going to need him to do that in this tournament.
You always talk about putting, words up on the board. What's on the board this week, and is there something on that board that could be there throughout the whole tournament?
Well, I just think they have to believe. It's like I told them after the Nevada game, why not us? I think a lot of our guys saw Northern Iowa win their conference tournament, and they're 500. I don't know exactly what their record was, but I think it was close. And they won it. And, we played them and beat them by 19. That's early in the year, but anything's possible. They have to believe that. And, it can't come from us. We already believe it. They got to believe as a group. And if they do that, then they'll have a chance.
How much time do you spend preparing for the possibility that they could have Marquise Coleman back when you're not sure?
That's the hardest thing about preparing for this game because you don't know. So we're preparing like he's going to play. But if he doesn't play, then we just played the team that didn't have him. So, we'll prepare today and do some things today to prepare for it, and then we'll see what happens. If he plays, then we'll be ready. If he doesn't play, then we just played that team. So it's kind of different because they know who we have, and we don't know who's going to play. But I would think he would play.
Any plans to meet up with Steve out there?
No, not yet. They're getting ready to play USC, and we're getting ready. So I'm sure we talk, almost once a day. So I'm sure we'll, see what's going on, but really focused on trying to get our teams ready.